Grinder is about to blow. Cat jams into first. Grinder fades into last. Whoa!
Hello and welcome to Retro 500, where I take a look at a retro game in 500 words. Give or take 10%. Now, are you ready to... Oh, hey, don't mind me. I'm just playing a modern game. You can tell it's modern because it's brown and filled with music from all my favourite modern bands. These days, a licensed soundtrack in a game is nothing special, especially for genres like racing and skateboard. But many moons ago, hearing commercial music in a video game was something of a novelty, if not groundbreaking. My first experience with such a thing was playing 1993's Rock and Roll Racing, a difficult to pronounce name for someone with a slightly short tongue such as me. I was happily and badly playing the game when my mother walked past and asked, "Is that Paranoid by Black Sabbath?" To which I had no response because I was a child whose taste in music consisted of Queen and Right Said Fred. Originally conceived as a sequel to 1991's RPM Racing, marketing meddling resulted in the last-minute addition of a licensed soundtrack and the game being renamed, which explains why the plot is borderline nonsensical. I've read the manual front to back, and all I can tell you is that, in the future, beings from the whole galaxy love nothing more than driving fast and listening to classic rock. That's it, and I'm fine with that.
Rip jams into first. Rip fades into last.
In Rock and Roll Racing, you select one of 6 completely original characters, such as Fabio, a dog, and Elf Ryu, and set out on a combat racing Grand Prix across 6 different planets, each with 2 sets of 8 races. Along the way, you can spend your winnings on new cars, weapons, and upgrades to help keep you ahead of the competition. Tracks are viewed from an isometric perspective and use tank-like controls, so if you hate games like Super Off-Road and Micro Machines, you're not gonna like this one. Both the gameplay and graphics are bog standard and inoffensive. But we've talked long enough about racing, let's talk rock and roll. Rock and Roll Racing boldly wears its soundtrack on its sleeve and contains a mind-blowing 5 licensed songs from artists such as Black Sabbath and Deep Purple. Back then, you couldn't just shove an MP3 file onto a cartridge and get paid. The songs had to be manually converted into sequences that the console's sound chip could play. While I grew up with the Mega Drive port, the arrangements pale in comparison to the original SNES release that was blessed by Tim and Jeff Follin. The Follins' enthusiasm for the songs comes through loud and clear. The tracks have been painstakingly arranged, with the only things missing being vocals and the guitar solo from Highway Star. The organ solo survived, and I'm honestly shocked at how accurate it is. The main downside of there being only 5 songs is that you'll have heard each one at least 3 times before you've completed the first planet. Fortunately, you have the option to disable the music so you can race to your own radical tunes.
Grinder is about to blow!
I rarely hear anyone talking about rock and roll racing, and maybe that's because there's nothing besides the soundtrack that really makes it unique. Why not give it a go? It's not the best racing game ever, but it certainly isn't bad.
Viper is about to blow. Cat scores a first place knockout. Rip finishes second. Viper takes a weak third. Shred is in another time zone.
Hey, thanks so much for watching this episode of Retro 500. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider doing us a like, maybe even a subscribe, and you can touch my bell should you wish. If there's anything that you think that I missed, let me know down in the comments, but until next time, take care of yourselves and goodbye.